Hello there. After all these units of study, I'm happy that you're finally ready for your TKT Module 1 test. So let us start the answer of this one. And here are the questions. It says, for questions 1 through 7, read the text. Match the underlined examples in the text with the grammatical terms listed A through H. So let us start. For me, the best thing, we have the best. The best, I'm gonna write here. The best means that I am using the superlative adjective. So number 1 is D. And it says, for me, the best thing about the weekend is that I don't have to go to work. I like my job. Job is a noun. I'm going to write here the word noun. I'm going to delete this one and write it here again. Noun. And before nouns, we have adjectives. That's why we say big house. So, my job is a possessive adjective. So, number 2 is option G. But I have to spend all day in an office, and I'm someone who loves being outside. Another good thing about the weekend is that I don't have to get up at 6:30 every day. All I'm seeing here is a period, another period, and 2 sentences. This is sentence 1. Another good thing about the weekend is this sentence has a subject and a verb. And then I have a second sentence. I don't have to get up at 6:30. And this sentence as well, right here, has a subject and a verb. So if I have 2 sentences, I am going to need a linker, and a linker is a conjunction. So number 3 is option A, a conjunction. Then I have number 4. It says, it isn't too bad. So we have the verb to be for it isn't, and then we have bad, and bad is an adjective. If I have this combination that we see, verb to be here and an adjective here, all I can place in the middle is an adverb, because adverbs modify adjectives. In this case, intensifies it. So we can say that 2 is an adverb. Number 4 is option C. Then it says, but I hate it. I hate it in winter. Hate is a verb. So after I have a verb, I have to have an object pronoun according to the grammar rules. So I hate it means that this it is an object pronoun, option E. Number 5, option E. I hate it in winter when it's dark in the morning. And then I have the word that's the time. That's the time can be written like this. That is the time. And this order, in this sentence, we say that is a verb. If is a verb, all I can have before is a pronoun. What kind of pronoun? That is a demonstrative pronoun. So number 6 is H. Demonstrative pronoun. And then we can say about number 7. This country. This country. So, country, again, is a noun. So before the noun, I must place an adjective. In this case, what kind of adjective? This is a demonstrative adjective. So number 7 is F. All I used here is the grammatical structures, the organization of the parts of speech, to find the correct answer. We're going to continue. In this exercise, we are going to match the lexical terms with the examples in the text. So it says, during his career, Sean Connery made over 70 films and became very rich. However, as a child growing up, what do we see in grow up? Grow up is a phrasal verb, a verb plus preposition. So number 8 is A. In Scotland during the Great Depression in the 1930s, he was poor. He and his family were not unusual. This would be the word usual. And here I have a prefix, but this prefix is negative. It has a negative meaning. So, if a word has a prefix or a suffix, the name for that is an affix. A word with an affix. But this one is negative. Unusual. So number 9 is C. Then we have number 10. It says in living in a 2-room flat with no bathroom. I see bathroom. If I have no, that means I need to have a noun. But this noun is compound because it has 2 words, bath and room. So number 10 is B. No bathroom is a noun. It is a noun, but this noun is compound. Number 11. It says, Shan left school at 13 and did a variety of jobs to make money. If I use to, that means I need a verb. And in this case, we have make money. It is a verb with, let me see, here we have compound adjective or family, verb and noun collocation. Collocations are usually used to mention actions. So here we have make money is an action, and I have a verb and a noun. So number 11 is option F, including being a milkman and a builder. A builder, it comes from the verb to build, and then the er affix, which is in this case a suffix. They can mention the word affix to describe prefixes or suffixes. So in this case, builder is G. Then we have number 13. Made him well known all over the world. Made him well known. We can say that well known is a compound adjective. It is an adjective. It is a description. It is compound because it has 2 words, well and noun. So number 13 is option D. And we're going to continue. So let us see. It says, this is quite nice. And you're quite wrong. These examples show that quite can be used. I have the word nice, which is an adjective. And I have the word wrong, which is another adjective. I'm saying those are adjectives because we can have the form of the verb to be plus an adjective. So in this case, the word quite is used to strengthen or weaken adjectives, to give strength or to weaken. Then number 15. Number 15. This is the best book I've ever read. In this sentence, ever is used. A. To give emphasis. B. To show that there is only one of something. C. To show that the action has recently been completed. Well, the action has not recently been completed. Not recently. It has been completed, meaning the person has already finished reading the book. It is not mentioned that the book was recently read. So, if I say I've ever read, I understand that the person has read a lot of books, but this one is the best. So the person is giving emphasis to the sentence. Number 16. I have just been speaking to him. In this sentence, just is used. A. To describe an unfinished action. B. To highlight when the action was done. And C. To show a repeated action. In this answer, we want to highlight that the action, especially because of the word just, the action just finished. The action recently finished. I was doing something to somebody, and this action recently finished. It is not an unfinished action, even though I have the verb in progressive form. This is the present perfect progressive. If I say, I have been reading for 3 years, that means I began 3 years ago and I still do it today. But the word just means that I finished the action. So I want to highlight when the action was done. I don't want to show a repeated action. Number 17 says, I'd rather go somewhere else. In this sentence, rather is used because A. The speaker doesn't mind what he does. B. The speaker is saying that something is special. Or C. The speaker is making a polite suggestion. The person is suggesting going somewhere else in a polite way. Number 18 says, I can hardly see. It's so dark. In this sentence, hardly is used because A. The speaker is trying to, it says, A. The speaker is trying very hard to see. B. The speaker is unable to see. And C. It is difficult for the speaker to see. So in number 18, we can say that it is difficult for the speaker to see. I can hardly means I have difficulty, or it is hard for me or for the action to happen. The speaker is trying very hard to see means the speaker is making an effort in a hard way or manner. And this is not what is happening. It is difficult for the speaker to see because it is dark. Number 19. It says, Joe worked particularly well this month. In this sentence, particularly is used to A. Show agreement with what Joe did. B. Emphasize how well Joe worked. And C. Focus on when Joe worked well. In this sentence, we want to talk about how well he did that. He did it particularly well. He worked particularly well. Why not this month? If I wanted this month to be the word emphasized, I should have said, Joy worked very well this month particularly. That means he didn't do it well in other months. But this month, he did well. What I want to say in this sentence is that he did well. But he did more than well. He did particularly well. Meaning, he did more than well. So number 19 is B. I want to emphasize how well Joe worked. Functions: A. Expressing ability. B. Making an offer. C. Making a prediction. D. Expressing intention. E. Expressing possibility. F. Making a request. G. Expressing preference. Email. Dear 1, thought I'd let you know I'm planning to come to Chile. I'm planning to come tells me that the person is expressing intention. My intention is to go to Chile. So the person is expressing intention. And it says, to Chile next year. And I'm hoping to visit you there. January is my first choice. Number 21. A preference. The person is expressing a preference. The person is telling me that January is an option. January is my first choice, but I might stay with mom then. So it could be, so it could be, number 22, our answer is E, a possibility. It could be. Option E, that I'll visit you in February instead. Anyway, I'd be really grateful if you could share your knowledge. The person is trying to ask for something. The person is making a request, requesting information. Option F. What's the weather like in February? How much can I see in 2 weeks? Number 24. I know how to check all this on the internet. If the person is saying that, that means the person is expressing an ability. The person is telling me that the person can do it. But it would be good to speak to someone who knows the country. By the way, number 25. Would you like me to bring you anything special from Britain? And for number 25, we can talk about the option B. The person is making an offer. So, I'm going to write it here. Option B. For questions 26 to 33, look at the phonemic symbols in the 3 words listed, A, B, and C. Choose the word which contains the sound matching the phonemic symbol. Mark the correct letter, A, B, or C, in your answer sheet. 26. The symbol is E. And we have 3 words. Leave, wear, heard. So the best option is A. We can say E for leave. So that would be our answer. Number 27. The sound is ch. Ch. The words we have are number 1, share. Number 2, lots. Number 3, question. If we pay close attention to these words, the first sound here is this one. I hope you can remember. It is sh. So we say share. The second sound here has this one. T. S. For lots. But the one we're looking for is this one. And this one is ch for question. Question. This is the sound we're looking for. Number 28. This sound is y. Y. The first word is danger. Danger. The second word is cheap. Cheap. And the third word is nation. Nation. So our answer is A. J for danger. Then we have number 29. The sound is ooh. Ooh. And the words are but, new, book. We know this is not because it is a for but between these two, this one is a short oo and this one is the long oo. New. New. But this one is short. Book. So the answer is B. Number 30. The sound is y. Y. And the words are edge. Edge. It would be this one. J. Edge. Pleasure. J. Pleasure. And this one, which is this. Ocean. Ocean. So our answer is this one. Then we have number 31. For number 31, the sound is and even though it is represented in the three words, these, father, and teeth, these first two TH combinations are voiced. The sound there is th for these, or father. And this one is the voiceless TH for teeth. Number 32. The sound is ya. Ya. And the first option is June. June. So the sound for that word would be this one. J for June. The sound for this one would be university. University is this. Ni, and the word continues. So this is the answer I'm looking for. Yeah, for university. This is a distractor. Guest. Guest. The sound here is G. The sound here is ya for university. For number 33, the word is And we can say about this that we mostly have it when we have a direct consonant after it. A consonant. So here we can say night. Night has no N around. It has it before, but not after. Manager has the same thing, meaning the N comes before the possible sound G or G. But this one has the sound N or K and the consonant K. So that's why we say drink. And that would be our answer for number 33. For questions 34 through 40, choose the best option, A, B, or C, to complete each statement on speaking skills. Mark the correct letter, A, B, or C, on your answer sheet. 34. Adapting your speech to the listener can involve A, giving attention to register, B, making use of prompting, and C, politely correcting. If I adapt my speech, I can do it because the listener is not understanding. So if I adapt what I say, it could be because the person needs me to pay attention to the register. For example, I'm talking to a basic learner and I say to the learner, "Hi, I would be really happy if you could join me for lunch or dinner." The student says, "What?" The student says, "I don't understand." But if I say, "Do you want to have lunch with me?" then the student can say, "Oh yeah, I understand now." So I adapted my speech. I changed the register and the student could understand. Another example. I say, "Hi, I'm blue today." And the student says, "What? I don't understand." And then I say, "Hi, I'm sad today." The student says, "Oh, now I understand." So all I did was change my register so my listeners could understand. Number 35. A common feature of speech which is not fluent is A, hesitation. Even though we have encouragement and turn taken, encouragement has to do with praising, with telling the student, "Yes, very well, you did okay, congratulations." Turn taking means taking turns to talk, and that has nothing to do with the speech which is not fluent. Example, my student is going to say, "Hello, my name is Leo. I am 34 years old. Oh, 34 years old. Okay? That is something which is not fluent, and the person hesitated a lot. A standard answer would be, "Hello, my name is Leo. I am 34 years old." That would be standard. That would be fluent. So that's why 35 is option A. 36. Interactive speaking involves A, developing a topic, B, using a variety of language patterns, and C, exchanging ideas. If you interact, it means you exchange. So you're going to be exchanging ideas if you do interactive speaking. Number 37. An example of self-correction is A, "No, what I actually said was," B, "I mean coming down the stairs, sorry." C, "That's right. In other words, a lot of people think that." So, option A, "No, what I actually said was." This is clarification. The person is clarifying. C, "That's right. In other words, a lot of people think that." That's right. That is agreeing. I agree with what you say. That's why I say that's right. And then I'm gonna change that information. In other words, meaning I am going to use different words to say the same thing. But for option B, the person said sorry, and that is a feature of self-correction. And the person says, I mean, in this case, I wanted to say coming downstairs, not coming upstairs, sorry. So number 37 is option B. Number 38. Trying to help the listener can involve A. Requesting clarification, B. Interrupting, and C. Paraphrasing. So number 38 is option C. Paraphrasing means saying the same things using different words. Saying the same things using easier words for the listener to understand, so I want to help him. Number 39. A speaker uses repetition to A. Explain things more simply when communication has broken down. This is what we just said. Paraphrase. If I paraphrase, I explain things in an easier way. I'm going to be paraphrasing. B. Speed up the interaction process. That means just being more fluent, but not repeating. But C. Clarify things for the listener who has not heard properly. So, I say something, you couldn't understand, you couldn't listen to me properly, then you ask for repetition, and that's what I do. I do not simplify, I clarify. 39 option C. Number 40. Linking devices are important when A. Giving a presentation to an audience, B. Using corrected speech, I think it's connected speech, and C. Communicating the meaning of individual words. Linking is important when you give a presentation. Linking, I'm gonna give you some examples here. I'm gonna say, I'm gonna use some linkers to explain this, if you let me. I'm gonna use first, I'm gonna use second, I'm gonna use last but not least, and I'm gonna use, that's why. Those are linkers. And I'm gonna think about a topic, in this case, drinking water. So, imagine that I am in front of an audience trying to give a speech, and I say, drinking water has a lot of benefits. First of all, it helps your digestion. Secondly, it regulates your body temperature. Last but not least, it makes you feel better. That's why people should drink water every day. So that's why linking devices are important when giving a presentation to an audience. For questions 41 through 45, match the teacher's comments with the types of mistake listed A, B, and C. Mark the correct letter A, B, or C on your answer sheet. You will need to use some of the options more than once. Types of mistake. A. Developmental errors. B. L1 interference. And C. Slips. And let us do it. Teacher's comments. Number 41. It's natural for all beginners to say things like I got home instead of I went home. So in this case, it is a developmental error because the person is going to stop making this mistake as the person develops cognitively. Number 42. Even though his level of English was good, the student was so excited yesterday that he made several mistakes which he wouldn't normally make. We can say it is a slip because the person was under some external emotions, anxiety, nervousness, etc. Number 43. This advanced student still has problems distinguishing between, and we can say, two sounds. And we can say that sound doesn't exist in his language. So that is a L1 interference because my first language is interfering my learning of the second language. Number 44. After we've done the unit of comparatives using more, several students started saying more nicer. So in that case, we can say it is a developmental error because as students practice more, these errors will disappear. Number 45, it says, this intermediate level student did the written exercises on irregular verbs perfectly, but she said cutteth when she recorded the exercises. She was probably just a bit nervous, and if it is about nervousness, it is a slip. For questions 46 to 50, we're going to look at the learning strategies and the 3 learner activities, A, B, and C. 2 of the learner activities are examples of the learning strategy. 1 learner activity is not. So we're going to mark the option which is not as an example of the learning activity or learning strategy. For example, using a written reference resource to clarify meaning. We use written reference resource to clarify meaning like a dictionary. But we are going to talk about the meaning, but not the pronunciation. So A says learners check pronunciation of a new phrase in a dictionary. That is not used. We use the dictionary. We use the written reference. If we want to check the register is how well it can be used or its level of formality. And that is something we can use, but not the pronunciation. And C says learners use examples of a worksheet to check understanding of the new phrase, That means they're going to understand the meaning, but never the pronunciation. Not in this case. Note taking. A. Learners record the main points from a lecture in writing. Yes, when they do note taking, they record those main points in writing or in written form. B. Learners make a mind map of what they have learned from a lesson. Yes, note-taking is also used for summarizing purposes. But if it says learners complete gaps in a course book text, that is related to grammar, not note-taking. So that is not the answer. 47 is option C. 48. Organizing work. A learner categorizes vocabulary into words she knows and she doesn't know. That is organizing work. That is putting things in order. That is dealing with what you can understand and what you cannot understand. B. A learner writes vocabulary quiz questions for his partner. Well, that involves interaction, but not organizing work. And a learner notes down important vocabulary under headings according to topic. That is organizing work. The student is trying to see, organize, categorize what is good and not good. So 48 is option B. 49. Guessing meaning from context. A. Learners use the intonation of a speaker in a recording to work out what he is feeling. In this case, we can say that, for example, they're gonna listen to something like this. Hello, Maria. How are you? Maria says, I'm fine, thank you. And he says, are you sure? You don't sound okay. And she's going to say, well, I have to say I'm okay, but I didn't do well in the test. So I understood she was not feeling well from the form she talked. So I could guess the meaning from the context of her feelings. Learners use a picture in a story to identify what a new word means. They don't know what the word means, but they look at the picture and they can understand the meaning. They are not directly consulting a reference. They are using what's on the text, in this case a picture, to better understand the meaning of a word, so that is guessing meaning from context. Option C. Learners use a picture dictionary to find out what the word in the title of the story means. Students used an external resource That is not guessing meaning from context. 49C. 50. Organizing participation. A. A group of learners agree a time limit for a speaking game. Yeah, they do that. They are setting some rules, and that is organizing participation. B. Learners discuss mistakes in a speaking game. That has to do with correction. Peer correction in this case. So that is not organizing participation. And C. Learners agree rules for taking turns to speak in a speaking game. That is organizing participation, deciding who's talking first, for example. So number 50 is option B. In these questions, we're going to match the categories to the statements about the first and second language learning. So, 51 says, there is always a strong social need for the learner to acquire the language. It is L1 learning because just imagine your first language. You actually needed to start speaking as soon as possible. There was a social need because among your family and friends you needed to speak to be understood. That is L1 learning, a feature, a characteristic of L1 learning. 52. It is necessary to process information you've heard. You do that in both L1 and L2, meaning you don't understand everything immediately, meaning you have to have some time off to understand what you're processing. Number 53. Acquisition of the language always happens together with cognitive development, and that happens only in L1, meaning at the age of 5 you speak your first language but you don't speak it fluently, or you don't speak it in a very abstract way, but you do speak it. But then when you go to college and you have a university degree, for example, your language is more abstract, complex, and academic, meaning formal. So that means as you grew up, your cognitive development grew up as well. 54. The language isn't always an essential skill in the learner's life. That happens in the L2 learning in the classroom. Some people learn English because they have to. Some people learn it because they want to. Some people learn it because it's fun. So, it is not always an essential skill in the learner's life. They can still live if they don't speak English. But it is very hard for a person to live if they cannot speak their first language. Number 55. Many learners fail to become proficient users. That happens in the L2 learning in the classroom. Unfortunately, learning English is something which is not 100% accurate. I can tell you, from every 10 students, unfortunately, only 1, 2, or 3 are really going to speak the language. Just look at these statistics and you'll find out. In this exercise, we have techniques for presenting new language versus teachers' actions. The techniques for presenting new language are A. Encouraging prediction of target language. B. Using a familiar text. C. Drilling of language forms. D. Concept checking. E. Using a visual context. F. Personalizing a topic. And G. Giving a model for pronunciation. 56. The teacher tells a favorite fairy story to introduce narrative tenses. 56 is C. The teacher is using a familiar text to introduce a topic. 57. After the students have read a text about a person who used to live in New York, the teacher asks the students if the person still lives in New York. If I want to clarify, if I want to know whether my students understood that or not, I am going to be using concept checking. I want to know whether they understood well or not. 58. The teacher repeats the words walk and work. And if the teacher does that, the teacher is going to be giving a model for pronunciation. The model is what students look as what they need to pronounce, but they haven't pronounced it. They are looking at it only. 59. The teacher shows an interview with the singer and asks the students to identify 5 fillers the singer uses. For number 59, we can say that the teacher is using a visual context because students are seeing the tape scripts of this conversation, so they are going to use it to answer. Number 60. The teacher asks the students what sport they play. By doing it, the teacher is personalizing the topic, so students can talk about their personal hobbies, likes, or preferences. 61. The teacher asks the students to repeat some conditional sentences from a recording. If the teacher wants the students to repeat, the teacher is going to be drilling of language forms. Just going to be doing the drilling of the words or the forms. Then we have, it says, for questions 62 to 68, match the practice activities with the text types listed, A through H. Mark the correct letter A through H on your answer sheets. And there's one extra option which you don't need to use. And we have the text types, brainstorming, choral drill, jumbled sentence, rank ordering, role play, survey, transformation drill, and visualization. 62. It says, you want to go out to visit the zoo. Your partner wants to stay home. Try to persuade your partner to come with you. So for number 62, our answer is A, a role play. Students are going to be acting out some role plays. 63. Close your eyes and imagine you're walking in a forest. What animals do you see? What noises can you hear? Can you smell? Well, in this sentence, the students are going to be closing their eyes, so they're going to be doing a visualization. 64. Put these words in the right order to make questions. Is color a what zebra? What color is a zebra? And that is a jumbled sentence. Students need to organize the sentence in the correct form. 65. Listen to these animal names and say them together. By doing it, students are going to be doing a choral drill. So that is the choral drill. Number 66. Which of these animals is most useful to humans? Number them from most useful, 1, to least useful, 5. Rabbit, donkey, camel, sheep, and elephant. And when students do this, students are going to do some rank ordering. They're going to order something according to some criteria. So there is a rank. Number 67. Work with a partner. Write down the names of as many animals as you can. And for number 67, we can talk about A, brainstorming. They're going to be trying to understand, write down all those words that come to their minds. Number 68. Complete this table by asking your friends about animals they like and don't like. So students are going to be mingling, walking around, asking questions. That means the students are going to be carrying out a survey. Option F. And then we can continue. For questions 69 through 74, match the features of lessons which students describe with the teaching approaches listed A, B, and C. Mark the correct letter A, B, or C in your answer sheet. So, teaching approaches. A, grammar translation. B, total physical response. C, lexical approach. 69. We analyze the language, focusing especially on everyday expressions and learning their meanings. Meanings means lexis, the meaning of a word, so that is the lexical approach. Number 70. We focus on understanding the rules of the structures in L2 reading passages. If it is about structure, it is about grammar. So that is the grammar translation method. Number 71. We work a lot on collocation, and this helps us to memorize common phrases. Collocations make part of lexis, so that would be the lexical approach. Number 72. In my class, everyone speaks the same language, so our teacher often asks us to look at English text and write them in our own language. That means they're going to use the grammar translation method. Number 73. Our teacher often tells us stories, and we listen or maybe mime parts of them. And if they're going to mime, they're going to use total physical response. They're going to try to represent the words with actions. And number 74. We often do lots of exercises of different structures. Simple present, simple past, present progressive. That is the grammar translation method. Then we have the descriptions of assessment with the assessment tasks. Number 75. It says, for their final test, students are given a picture and they talk about it. They are assessed and their ability to communicate. Number 75 is B. Summative and subjective. Number 75 is B. Summative and subjective. Why summative? Because it is for the final test. Summative assessment means assessing after the end of a unit or a course. And why subjective? Because students are going to say what they want about something. They are not prompted to say something. They are going to talk about what they want, so that is subjective. Number 76. Students write an article about leisure facilities in their area. The teacher gives comments later on layout and organization, content, vocabulary, and grammar. So number 76 is D. It is formative and subjective. It is subjective because students are going to write an article, meaning students are going to write about what they want. It is formative because it doesn't usually have a mark on it. It is not a formal test. It is just, it means students do something and the teacher says something about it. Gives a comment. Not necessarily a grade. Number 77. Students read 3 texts on a topic they have studied on the course and do true, false, and matching tasks. Number 77 is A. Summative and objective. It is summative because they are going to do something they have studied on the course. They do it after they study the subject, the topic in this case. And do true, false, and matching tasks. That's why it is objective, meaning it is not what the student thinks or wants. The students have to give, all the students have to give the same answer if it is correct. If I want my students to say or write something, they are gonna say whatever they want, so the answers may not be the same. But for these ones, for example, number 1, if it is A, all of them have to have A to have the answer correct. Number 78. Students do a vocabulary test at the end of every term on the words they have learned. This term, they have to match words with pictures. So for number 78, our answer is again A. It is summative because it is at the end of every term. It is a fixed exam with a real grade and score. And it is objective because students are not going to talk about what they want. Students have to Match words with pictures. So there's nothing they can say on their own. The answers are fixed. Number 79. Students do a multiple choice diagnostic test which covers a range of grammar and vocabulary. The teacher then tells the students their main strengths and weaknesses. So in this one, there is not a grade involved, there is not a formal test. And for number 79, we can talk about option C because it is formative, meaning students take it as a part of their learning with not a fixed score, but this is still the assessment, the teacher is giving feedback. And it is objective because they are not going to talk about what they want. They have to do multiple choice diagnostic test, meaning the answer, they have to do multiple choice diagnostic tests, which means the answers are fixed, so students cannot talk about what they want. Number 80. As part of a monthly test, students write a composition, so it is about what they want. Then they exchange compositions and choose comments from a list. To evaluate the writing, then they return it. So for number 80, we have formative and subjective. Formative because it is about as part of a test, as part of an exam, a fixed test. Students write down a composition, meaning it is on their own. They write about what they want. Then they exchange it and then they grade it and comment on that. But there is not a fixed standard score. This is about what the student thinks and they exchange comments. The grade of formality is less in this test. That's why number 80 is option D.